Thank you for being here today. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder of just how radiant they truly are. Your support helps spread a message that often gets overlooked in today's world. That beauty doesn't fade with time. It transforms, it deepens, and it becomes even more powerful. Today's video is not just another message about aging gracefully. It's a celebration of life, confidence, and the timeless beauty that shines brightest after 60. We live in a culture that often praises youth and overlooks the incredible radiance that grows with experience. But we know better. We've lived, we've loved, we've learned. And through it all, we've become women of wisdom, strength, and resilience. This is a space to honor that transformation, to pause and recognize the beauty in every gray hair, every wrinkle, every chapter of the story etched onto our skin. These aren't signs of fading. They are signs of flourishing. They are symbols of a life well lived. They remind us of the laughter we've shared, the tears we've overcome, and the strength we've cultivated along the way. The purpose of this video is simple but powerful: to uplift, to inspire, to remind you, and every woman watching, that aging is not something to hide from. It's something to be proud of. With each passing year, we gain more than we lose. We gain clarity. We gain peace. We gain confidence that cannot be shaken by anyone else's opinion of us. Together, we are redefining what it means to be beautiful. No longer measured by youth, perfection, or comparison, but by authenticity, self-love, and the quiet power of knowing our worth. This journey isn't about holding on to who we used to be. It's about embracing who we've become. So, let's take this moment to honor that journey, to celebrate all that we are, and to step forward, not with hesitation, but with pride, knowing that our light shines not in spite of our age, but because of it. For far too long, the world has told us that beauty belongs to the young, that smooth skin and youthful features are the peak of what it means to be beautiful. We see it in magazines, in movies, in the way society celebrates youth and quietly turns away from age. But here's the truth. Beauty was never meant to have an expiration date. And it certainly isn't measured in the absence of wrinkles or the color of our hair. Real beauty isn't something we leave behind in our 20s or 30s. It's something we grow into. It deepens with every year, shaped not by time lost, but by life lived. The laughter lines around our eyes, the softness in our expression, the grace in our posture. These are not signs of decline. They are signs of richness, of experience, of having faced life fully and emerged even more radiant. Beauty, at its core, has never been about appearance. It's about presence, about the energy we bring into a room, about how we carry ourselves, how we speak, how we love. It's in the strength we've built through hardship, the gentleness we've earned through empathy, and the wisdom we wear like a crown. In our 60s and beyond, we are not losing beauty. We're discovering a deeper one. A beauty that doesn't beg for approval, but one that radiates self-assurance. One that no longer conforms to anyone else's standards, because we've learned to define it for ourselves. We know now that beauty isn't about youth. It's about authenticity, about truth, about living in alignment with who we are, not who we're told to be. This is the beauty that can't be bottled or filtered. It doesn't fade under fluorescent lights or vanish with the passing years. It lives within us, It's in our stories, our resilience, our ability to rise again and again with grace. It's in our eyes, in our voices, in the calm power of women who have nothing left to prove. So let the world keep chasing its narrow image of perfection. We'll be here, redefining beauty on our own terms. And the beauty we've found? It's real, it's timeless, and it only grows stronger with age. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every grey hair carries a memory. They are not flaws to be hidden. They are living proof that we have lived, that we have loved deeply, lost bravely, and risen with grace time and time again. The lines on our faces are not signs of age. They are signatures of strength. With each passing year, we gather more than candles on a cake. We gather wisdom. We gather resilience. We gather the kind of insight that only comes from living fully, from walking through the storms and still finding our way back to the light. The heartbreaks we've endured, the joy we've embraced, the lessons we've learned the hard way, they've all shaped us into women who no longer just survive, but thrive. There's a quiet power in having been through it. We no longer shake at the opinions of others. We don't flinch at the uncertainty of life. Why? Because we've already faced the unknown. And we've come out stronger, softer, and more certain of who we are. Our confidence no longer comes from perfection. It comes from experience. We know the value of patience now. We understand the beauty of forgiveness. We've learned that real happiness isn't found in what we own, but in who we are. These are truths that only time can teach. And because of that, our age is not a burden. It's a blessing. There is something extraordinary about a woman who has lived decades of life and still chooses to show up with kindness, grace, and love. That kind of woman walks differently. She speaks with intention. She radiates a confidence that doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, unapologetically. Our experiences are the roots that ground us, the wings that lift us, and the armor that protects us. They give us the freedom to be ourselves without apology or explanation. We don't need to pretend anymore. We've earned the right to be real, and in that realness, we shine brighter than ever. So let every line, every scar, every silver strand be a reminder. We've lived deeply, we've grown, and through every challenge, we've become even more beautiful from the inside out. In our younger years, confidence often felt like something we had to earn, through compliments, achievements, or someone else's approval. We looked outward, hoping to be seen, hoping to be enough. We measured our worth by reflections in mirrors, by numbers on scales, by the reactions of others. And while those moments may have felt validating, they were fleeting, temporary, never quite enough to fill the space inside us that longed for something more lasting. But with time, something beautiful begins to shift. We stop chasing validation from the outside, and we begin finding it within. We learn that real confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room or the best dressed at the table. It's about walking into that room and knowing we belong there, without needing to prove it. That kind of confidence isn't given to us. It's earned through living, through growing, through knowing who we truly are. As the years pass, we peel away the layers of self-doubt and begin to uncover something stronger, something quieter, something more powerful. A sense of self that doesn't rely on praise or permission. A steady belief that says, I am enough, as I am, where I am in this moment. That's where confidence is born. Not in perfection, but in acceptance. It's no longer about looking perfect. It's about feeling at peace. We no longer dress to impress others. We dress in a way that reflects our spirit. We speak not to be liked, but to be understood. We make decisions based not on fear, but on self-respect. This is the kind of confidence that radiates. It doesn't shout, it glows. There's something magnetic about a woman who knows herself, who no longer waits to be chosen, but chooses herself daily. Her confidence isn't found in makeup or clothes or approval. It's in her posture, her energy, her presence. It's the calm in her voice, the strength in her silence, the spark in her smile. And the most beautiful part? This kind of confidence only gets stronger with time, because it's built on truth, on experience, on deep, unshakable self-worth. We don't just grow older, we grow into ourselves. And in doing so, we discover the kind of confidence that lights up everything we touch. There was a time when we tried to fit into boxes, quiet ones, small ones, boxes that made others comfortable. We shaped ourselves to match expectations, softened our voices, adjusted our appearance, and carried the silent weight of not enough. We were taught to shrink, to be pleasing, to be polite, to be what the world wanted us to be. And so, we wore masks. We doubted ourselves. We questioned our worth. But life has a way of peeling back those layers. Slowly, gently, and sometimes painfully. It reveals who we truly are beneath the roles, the rules, and the need to be approved. And in that process, something powerful happens. We begin to accept ourselves. Self-acceptance doesn't arrive all at once. It comes in moments. Moments when we stop criticizing the woman in the mirror and start thanking her for all she's been through. Moments when we stop apologizing for our feelings, our opinions, our bodies, and begin honoring them instead. It's in those quiet shifts that self-love begins to take root. We realize we don't need to be anyone else. We don't need to keep up. We don't need to hide our flaws or pretend to be perfect. The truth is, the most beautiful version of us is the real one. The one with scars, laughter lines, and a story that's still unfolding. That's where our power lives. Not in performance, but in presence. There's a freedom that comes with letting go of the need to be liked by everyone, with no longer bending ourselves to fit into someone else's idea of who we should be. When we fully accept ourselves, not just the polished parts, but the raw, the real, the messy, we unlock a strength that can't be taken away. Authenticity is magnetic, vulnerability is courageous, and when we allow ourselves to show up exactly as we are, something extraordinary happens. We connect deeply, honestly, and beautifully. Self-acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about coming home to yourself. It's the moment you stop chasing someone else's version of beauty and start embracing your own. And in that embrace, you find peace. You find power. You find the kind of beauty that doesn't just age, it deepens. Self-care is not a luxury. It's not an indulgence or a reward for getting everything done. It's a necessity, a quiet, powerful act of self-respect. It's the way we tell ourselves, I matter too. After years of caring for others, of putting ourselves second or third or last, we begin to understand something deeply. We cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking care of ourselves isn't selfish. It's foundational. It's how we stay grounded, energized, and connected to who we are. And self-care doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require spa days or grand gestures. It begins in the small, intentional choices we make every single day. Drinking enough water, getting enough rest, saying no when our soul says no, moving our bodies not to change them, but to honor them. Physical wellness is a form of gratitude, a way to thank our bodies for carrying us through so much. Nourishing ourselves with good food, staying active, stretching, walking, breathing deeply. These are not chores, they are rituals. And with age, we learn that health is not about appearance, it's about energy, vitality, and longevity. It's about feeling good in our skin, not because it's perfect, but because it's ours. Mental and emotional self-care are just as vital. Taking quiet time to reflect, letting go of guilt, creating space for stillness, whether it's journaling, meditating, reading a book, or sitting in silence with a cup of tea. These moments refill us. They remind us of our inner world, the place where peace begins. And perhaps most importantly, self-care is a form of love. Not romantic love, not fleeting love, but the steady, nurturing kind we often extend to everyone else before ourselves. It's saying, I am worth the time. I am worth the effort. It's tending to our hearts, our boundaries, our needs, without apology. With every year that passes, we learn to value our time and energy more. We become more selective, more intentional, more aware of what serves us and what drains us. And in that awareness, we begin to protect our peace, fiercely and gently. Because when we care for ourselves, we don't just survive, we shine. Self-care is how we come back to ourselves, again and again, stronger, softer, and more beautifully whole. The camera doesn't just capture faces, it captures stories. And for women over 60, those stories are rich with depth, strength, and soul. Each photograph becomes more than an image. It becomes a reflection of who we've become. A visual expression of a life lived with courage, grace, and purpose. Photography has a quiet magic. It allows us to see ourselves as we truly are, often in ways we didn't even realize. Not as the world expects us to be, not filtered or posed to meet some impossible standard, but as women who carry the beauty of wisdom in our eyes and the softness of compassion in our smiles. It freezes a moment, yes, but more than that, it honors the essence within that moment. We often shy away from the lens, trained to believe that we must look a certain way to be seen. But what if we reframe that belief? What if every photo wasn't about chasing youth, but about celebrating presence? What if the lines on our faces weren't flaws to hide, but stories to share? Memories of laughter, of love, of lessons learned the hard way. When we allow ourselves to be seen through the lens, truly seen, something remarkable happens. We reclaim the narrative. We say, this is me, and I am proud of her. We look at the woman in the photograph and we recognize her strength, her softness, her resilience. We see not just what she looks like, but who she is. Every photo taken in this chapter of life is a declaration, I have lived. Each image holds the joy of milestones, the tenderness of connection, the triumphs of survival. Whether it's a spontaneous laugh, a peaceful moment in nature, or a portrait with loved ones, every photograph becomes a tribute to our journey. Photography is not just about capturing how we appear, it's about honoring who we are. It reminds us that beauty evolves, that presence is powerful, and that our stories are worth remembering. Frame by frame, wrinkle by wrinkle, smile by smile. So stand in front of the camera, not to be judged, but to be celebrated. Because the woman in that photo, she is radiant. She is real, and she is absolutely unforgettable. There comes a time when we stop living for expectations and start living for ourselves. We no longer measure our lives by how closely they follow someone else's script. Instead, we begin writing our own, page by page, moment by moment, guided not by pressure but by purpose. That's the beauty of growing older. We realize that we don't have to earn permission to be happy. We can simply choose it. Living with intention means we move through life awake, aware, and aligned with what truly matters to us. We no longer say yes when we mean no. We don't chase busy for the sake of being productive. We slow down, we tune in, we ask ourselves, what brings me peace? What brings me joy? And then we do more of that. Joy doesn't have to be loud. It lives in the quiet too, in the first sip of morning coffee, in the sunlight streaming through the window, in the feeling of dirt between your fingers as you garden. It's found in picking up a long-forgotten hobby, learning something new just because it excites you, or dancing barefoot in your kitchen without a single care. These are the moments that make life rich, not perfect, but meaningful. At this stage, we also give ourselves permission to begin again, to try new things, explore new places, and embrace fresh starts with open hearts. There's no timeline, no rulebook, just the freedom to grow, to evolve, and to follow our curiosity wherever it leads. Spontaneity becomes a joy, not a disruption. We stop asking, am I too old for this? And start asking, why not? We understand that age isn't a barrier. It's an invitation to do what we love, to surround ourselves with what lifts us, and to craft a life that feels good from the inside out. This is what it means to live with intention, to fill our days not with obligation, but with authenticity, to choose joy, not because life is always easy, but because we've learned just how precious it is. And in that joy, we find ourselves, not who we were expected to be, but who we were always meant to become. There is something quietly powerful about a woman who has lived, loved, and learned, and still chooses to show up with an open heart. As women over 60, we carry more than just years. We carry stories, wisdom, and a light that doesn't dim with age. It softens, deepens, and becomes even more radiant. And in doing so, we become more than just ourselves. We become role models. Younger women are watching, they are listening. And whether we realize it or not, we are showing them something profound. That growing older is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. That life doesn't end at 40 or 50 or 60. In many ways, it begins. We show them that beauty doesn't fade, it evolves. That confidence isn't about fitting in, but about standing tall in who you are. We show them that self-love takes time and that it's worth the wait. And perhaps most importantly, we show them that their worth is never tied to their age, their appearance, or their timeline. Aging isn't a decline, it's an expansion. It's a widening of the heart, a deepening of the soul. It's a gift of perspective, of knowing what truly matters and having the courage to live by it. When we walk through the world with grace and authenticity, we light a path for others to follow. We may no longer be the youngest in the room, but we are the ones with the clearest vision. And that vision has the power to guide, to uplift, to empower. Because when a young woman sees an older woman who is radiant in her skin, joyful in her purpose, and unafraid to be real, it plants a seed that says, I can grow old like that, and I won't be afraid. You don't lose your light with age. You pass it on, through your words, your actions, your presence, through the way you love yourself and others. through the example you set by simply being who you are. So stand tall in your story. Speak it with pride, because somewhere a younger woman is watching and finding the courage to become herself. As we close this beautiful reflection, let's pause and remember what we've uncovered together. Beauty does not fade, it evolves. It grows deeper, richer, more meaningful with every passing year. It softens in some places and strengthens in others. It blossoms not in spite of age, but because of it. Confidence, too, is no longer something we chase. It's something we wear, quietly, proudly, like a second skin. It comes from knowing who we are, what we've overcome, and how far we've come, and the wisdom we now carry. It's not just knowledge, it's lived experience. It's grace forged through fire. It's a calm certainty that only time can bring. If you take one thing with you from this message, let it be this: your journey is worth celebrating. Not someday, not when you meet a goal or reach a milestone. Right now, just as you are, with every wrinkle, every scar, every moment that shaped you into the woman you've become. So take up space, take the photo, speak your truth, dance barefoot in the living room, start the thing you've been putting off, wear what makes you feel alive, say yes to what lights you up, and no to what doesn't. This is your life, and you've earned the right to live it on your own terms. There's no need to dim your light. In fact, the world needs it more than ever. Let it shine. Through your smile, through your words, through the way you carry yourself with quiet confidence and bold authenticity. Let it be a beacon for others and a reminder to yourself: you are radiant, you are powerful, and you are just getting started. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to be part of this growing community of women who choose to live fully, love deeply, and shine brightly at every age. Please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe so we can continue walking this empowering journey together. Together, we are rewriting the story of aging with grace, strength, and unshakable beauty. And I'm so grateful to be on this path with you.